Few gold rush stars have caught people's attention like Tony Beets, the Dutch-born miner who turned Yukon mud into millions. But lately, fans keep asking, what really happened to him? From angry arguments that took him to court to crazy internet rumors saying he was sentenced to life in prison, Tony's story has become a mix of truth, lies, and complete madness. So, how did one of TV's toughest miners end up in the middle of so much guessing? The truth about Tony Beets might just surprise you. Tony Beets' story begins on December 15th, 1959 in the Netherlands. Born to Klaus and Magda Beets, Tony grew up in the small village of Wijdeens where life on the family farm taught him two things early: hard work and a love for heavy machinery. When he was just 7, his family moved to Bergwoerd in Friesland. But life wasn't easy. After his father had a serious accident, young Tony had to step up and take over most of the farm duties. That experience shaped him, building toughness, confidence, and maturity that would carry him through every challenge ahead. By his early 20s, he was itching for change. So at 23, he and his girlfriend Minnie, who would later become his wife, took a huge leap of faith. With only $300 in their pockets and no knowledge of English, they left the Netherlands behind and headed to Canada, landing in British Columbia. It was a bold move, and survival meant hustling from day one. Tony's first job in Canada was milking cows in Salmon Arm for $4 an hour, but that wasn't cutting it, so he switched to construction work. Within just a week, he was promoted to foreman, proving how quickly he could adapt and lead. Over time, he learned to operate heavy machinery and worked on oil pipelines. Meanwhile, Minnie worked just as hard, taking on jobs in retail, healthcare, and food service to help keep their dream alive. Then came the rumor that changed everything. Word spread about workers up in the Yukon earning over $1,000 a week mining gold. For Tony, that was all the motivation he needed. In March 1981, he packed up and headed for Dawson City. But when he got there, he discovered he was too early. The gold season hadn't started yet. With no jobs available, he returned to British Columbia. Still, that Yukon dream never left his mind. 3 years later, in 1984, opportunity finally knocked. A mining company called him back to the Yukon, and Tony didn't hesitate. He started small, operating heavy machinery at the Tamarack mines, the same mines he would one day own. Eventually, Tony launched his own mining company, Tamarack Incorporated, right in the Dawson district. Through hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck, it grew into one of the largest privately owned placer gold mines in the entire Yukon territory. But success didn't come easy. With only about 7 months of mining weather each year, Tony and his crew worked 12 to 14 hours a day, pushing through brutal cold, unpredictable machinery breakdowns, and nonstop pressure. His philosophy was simple: gold mining only works if you're there every single day, making it happen. He understood that even with all the effort in the world, luck played a huge part. One season could make you a millionaire, and the next could wipe you out completely. That's why he leaned on his team, especially his family. Minnie became the backbone of the operation, handling all the bookkeeping and financial decisions. She was smart, disciplined, and sometimes the only one standing between Tony and a risky investment. Their kids, Monica, Kevin, Mike, and Bianca, all joined the family business over time. Tony admitted he was tougher on them than anyone else, but he also made sure they were paid fairly and understood what hard work really meant. Now, Tony's rise to TV fame really took off during Season 2 of Discovery Channel's hit series Gold Rush. His tough, straight-shooting attitude instantly made him stand out. That season, the show's main figure, Todd Hoffman, who was struggling to keep his mining dream alive, turned to Tony for guidance. Tony first appeared in an episode called Drill or Die during Season 2. It wasn't a major role, but it made a lasting impression. Todd Hoffman's operation was falling apart, and Tony stepped in with one crucial piece of advice: test drill before mining. By Season 4, Tony was no longer just a guest. He was a full-fledged cast member, bringing viewers into his own world at Paradise Hill in the Dawson mining district. Paradise Hill became one of the show's most recognizable mining sites. It's the same area that sparked the original gold rush in the late 1800s. And to this day, Tony and his family continued to pull gold from that very ground. Then came season 5, and things took a wild turn. Instead of sticking with the usual wash plant setup, Tony went all in on a bold idea, buying a massive 75-year-old gold dredge and bringing it back to life. This wasn't just some rusty old machine. It was a genuine piece of Klondike history from the original gold rush era. The dredge represented his belief that old-school, large-scale mining methods could still outshine modern approaches. But in 2014, that Viking spirit got Tony and his crew into serious trouble. During the filming of Gold Rush, the Tamarack team decided to perform what they jokingly called a Viking baptism for the dredge. Their method: pouring gasoline into a pond and setting it on fire. When the episode aired in 2015, it stirred immediate controversy. Viewers were shocked, and the Yukon government wasn't laughing either. Officials charged Tony, his company, and his employees with violating the Yukon Water Act. After the case, Tony admitted he should have known better. In the end, he accepted the fine and described the whole ordeal as a joke that went too far. When Gold Rush came back for its 12th season in September 2021, Tony was fired up and ready to prove a point. This time, he had his eyes on a massive goal: 9,000 ounces of gold. To get there, Tony went all in, dropping a jaw-dropping $5 million on new heavy-duty machines. But then came a curveball. Tony didn't have a water license for Indian River. The application was rejected, forcing him to start over. It was a crushing setback after pouring millions into preparation. But even with all that success, controversy still had a way of finding him. In April 2025, a wild rumor started spreading online. The story claimed that Tony and Mike Beets had been sentenced to life in prison. Within days, the claim exploded across social media, especially on YouTube and TikTok. But here's the truth: none of it was real. There are no arrests, no convictions, and no life sentences. The whole thing was just another viral hoax built to grab attention. Experts say most of these videos are AI-generated misinformation. These clips mix real facts like Tony's environmental finds with exaggerated details to create stories that sound believable enough to go viral. The pattern is always the same. A small piece of truth gets twisted into something sensational. It's the kind of content built to shock, spread fast, and rake in clicks. But in the end, none of it holds up under real scrutiny.